Welcome back to Melodic Memories of a Lights Monarch. I'm Casey, and I just came back from Toronto seeing the Clancy Tour Breach. And may I say, wow. I don't really know how to put it into words. Obviously, I'm a day behind on my podcast. I apologize to everyone listening. I usually try to make it very apparent to happen every single Monday, but this time I unfortunately could not. My airplane, the flight that I was on, I didn't realize what time the flight flew from Toronto to Edmonton, and then the trip time from Edmonton to my home. It took far too long, so I didn't get the chance to actually record. And by the time I made it home just yesterday, it was already like 11 p.m. So bear with me. Well, this episode is obviously going to be delayed, but believe me, it was such an amazing trip. And I hope everyone listening enjoys my rambles towards it because it is a dream come true. And that's probably the easiest way I can put it, is that it was a complete dream come true. I wrote something that I do want to get to, and I'll get to it towards the end of the episode just to be able to share my thoughts in a very concise manner. But at the same time, the whole show, the entire trip, it was just a fever dream. It all went by so quick. It was just a weekend. Literally flew out from Edmonton to Toronto on, the Friday, the red-eye flight. And we got in around 6 a.m., had to wait for a hotel room, and unfortunate because the early check-in, we said, they said at least, we could get early check-in. We didn't. We did, but not by the time we got there. We got there at like 6 a.m. And the early check-in, once I actually went and talked to the lady again, because apparently they forgot we were there, which is big, baloney, but we made it. We got our room around like 9 o'clock. My friends that came with us were obviously exhausted. I myself somehow powered through. And I should preface, there's 5 of us. 3 of them came with me from Edmonton area. And my friend Crystal, as I've talked and mentioned about plenty times on my podcast before, she came up to the show all the way from Chicago. So wild that she was able to do that. A long drive, and I know I'm kind of jumping back and forth, but I need to set the scene. She came up on the Saturday morning. She drove halfway and then stayed at a place, I believe in London, Ontario, came the rest of the way afterwards to the hotel, and she was able to wait with us for a hotel room, which was probably the least exciting and fun part of the trip, mind you. It wasn't something that we completely expected, but, we made it through. I wasn't super tired. I kind of had, a second and third wind all at once. I don't know how I pushed through because I didn't actually go to bed again until, I want to say, the next day after the first show. Absolutely wild I was able to push through that hard, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. But they were able to get a room early around 9 o'clock. They took a nap, and while they were taking a nap, Crystal and I, we went downtown Toronto and took the little train from the airport. We took shuttle to the airport, train to the downtown area. And what an amazing time it was. It wasn't anything particular that we had in plan. Just, we've both never been. For me personally in Canada, since I've lived here my whole entire life, I've only ever been to Alberta and BC and very, very little bit, the tiniest bit of Saskatchewan. So the whole entire rest of the country, I've never seen. And for BC, I was only lucky enough to just see Vancouver recently when I went to go see Taylor Swift. And that was with Montana, one of my other friends, an amazing trip, but there is an episode about that. If you're curious at all, go look through my episodes. It is there, I promise you, the Eras Tour. It was an amazing time, but that's not what this is about. This is about 21 Pilots and my trip to Toronto. So it was an amazing time. The trip downtown, we didn't really do a whole lot except for look around, kind of see the sights. Found this Hey Lucy Cafe, which shout out to them. We never actually went in, but I heard amazing things. My coworker Daisy, she told me, if you need somewhere to go eat downtown, go check them out. They're apparently a very authentic Italian restaurant, and on their billboard it said that they had a rooftop patio. I think that would have been amazing to go experience, so something I'm definitely going to have to go back to at some point, as I know Crystal, she is most certainly wanting to go back to Toronto, and I'll probably end up going with her, because why not? It'd be amazing to go experience even more of Toronto and what it has to offer. Maybe even, who knows, see a Blue Jays game while I'm down there? I would say Maple Leafs, but I feel like that wouldn't be right to do without going with my buddy Paul, because he is the biggest Maple Leafs fan that I know. Or even Caden from my work, ex-coworker, but still friend of mine. Shout out to him. I doubt either of them are listening, but regardless, it'd be cool to go see those things, experience more of Toronto, stuff that we didn't get to do, because again, it was only 2 days. We were in Toronto for 2 days. Technically 2.5, I guess, because our flight, again, left a lot later than I originally imagined. But after we, explored downtown, went back to the hotel, they had the second room open, and that's when I was able to get ready for the show. And now the show itself. I don't even know where to begin. I guess I can begin on us getting ready, I suppose, because we did dress up. I dressed up as Torchbearer. Crystal dressed up as a bishop, Nico, if you will. Her own version of a bishop anyways. And I think her costume looked awesome. And I'm glad that a lot of other people did too, because she was worried about it. But my costume in particular, Torchbearer, I looked at myself in the mirror. And I cried. Not like a hard cry, but I teared up. And was just like, wow. Like just in awe, looking at myself and thinking, I look just like that. Like, yeah, I have long hair. Obviously, I have my own defining features. I'm not saying I look like Josh. That's kind of crazy to say. But the character itself, I was looking at myself and envisioning like, holy shit, I did a good job. And it means a lot to me because this is a character that, again, I've been following in this storyline for fucking years. And he's a character that is my favorite version of Torchbearer. Like, the one that I adore because it's from Trench. Trench is my favorite album of 21 Pilots, and with how much they mean to me, like it caught me off guard when I actually seen the costume fully together, because before that, I bought all the parts, like the hoodie, the pants, the yellow tape, and I believe the toque, black toque, and boots. And I never actually put them all together until I was there in the hotel. And to see myself in that mirror, I was awestruck, just like, wow, I look just like Torchbearer, which is just heartwarming for me as a fan. I know it's hard to come across or explain, but it just was everything. I'm so glad it turned out. And I forgot my Trench bandana, which was originally from when I ordered, I believe, the Triplets EP, if anyone remembers it. That is a 21 Pilots fan. The Triplets EP that they released for Trench that came with a hoodie. I have that hoodie, and unfortunately I'm going to have to retire it. It's kind of falling apart just the littlest bit. But I'm going to order a new hoodie from Breach off of their website. I didn't like any at the show. Granted, I liked them, but I liked the one that they put on their web store more, the red one. If anyone knows, just go look at it. It's perfect. The one they had at the show, there was a zip-up hoodie. Not super crazy about zip-ups, and the other one was all gray. Not saying it was bad by any means, but the fact that that other one exists, I'd rather the red one. All that aside to say, the Triplets EP itself came with, at least the bundle that I got, came with a Trench bandana, yellow with their logo. And I unfortunately forgot it way back in the day at the Bandito tour. Yeah, I went to the Bandito tour in Edmonton. I don't know if I've talked about it too much. I imagine I've probably mentioned it here and there. But I forgot to wear it then, and I forgot to bring it with me again now. So lucky enough to be me that Crystal is so amazing as she is. She bought me the Torchbearer box set for the CD. Now, it's the one that I originally pre-ordered, but being that I'm in Canada, I don't know if it happened Canada-wide, but for me and Noah, who also came with and dressed up as Clancy, his costume was also great. Shout out to Reese as well. She made Clancy hats. She's one of my friends. so happy that she was able to do that because I wore my Clancy hat that she made me on the second night. And I'll get into that, of course, but she did a perfect job. Like, there was literally this one kid, probably a couple to Noah, but I know for me personally, when I wore it the second night, there was one kid that was like, "Oh my God, I love your hat." Because it's a Clancy hat. A lot of people had them too, but it's just so uniquely made. Like, it is definitely one of the best ones that I've seen. And I know that might be my own bias to be like, hey, my friend made this, but I'm so glad that it got the recognition that it deserved, even if it was just from a couple people. And it from fans, nonetheless. Like, that means even more. But I digress. I'm getting sidetracked. The bandana itself. I didn't bring my trench one. The Torchbearer box set, she brought every single box set with her. She bought me every single one. Just as a gift, because she knew that my Torchbearer one might have been forgotten, because that was the thing. Like, they weren't emailing me back fast enough to be like, hey, it is on the way, it's just delayed. And I guess she didn't want me to miss out because she knows how much these guys mean to me and how much this band means to me, and the fact that this album is what it is. She wanted me to be able to have it just even to collect. And that, warms my heart. It makes me tear up a little bit even talking about it. But that aside, I opened up the box set, grabbed the actual bandana that came in with the Torchbearer one, which I do have a Torchbearer on the way, so I'm going to have 3 of them sealed, which is insane because this is why we dressed up as what we did. I bought the Torchbearer box set. Crystal bought the Nova Bishop box set. And Noah, he bought the Dark Clancy box set. So we all dressed up as the characters of the box sets we bought because that was the original, like, completely unprompted, just the ones that we were, generalized towards. Like, I definitely, first one I was like, that's the one I want, was the Torchbearer one, and same for the rest of them. So it just worked out. That's how we got the costume ideas, and that's what we did. But with the bandana, I was able to still have one because the Torchbearer box set has one in it. Not a trench bandana. It is a breach bandana, but it's still the yellow, the bandito yellow, and the green. That is all throughout the costume. It looked so good. Like I said, it made me tear up just looking at myself, which is wild to think. And no, I promise I'm not self-centered. At least I try not to be. It was just such a surreal moment for me. And I'm so glad that I was able to do that and have Crystal there with me as the bishop, and then to have Noah there with me as Clancy, like we were our own crew. It was so cool. And I have photos I am going to post, and there will be a lot of photos that I want to post, and I'm going to pick and choose, of course, but I'm very happy with the way just the costumes alone turned out. And that's not even mentioning the show. By the time we got down there, the line was very long, of course. We got to the show probably around 5, I want to say, by the time we got through traffic, because we Ubered, as one does, and we got to go into the pit for night 1. Night 1 of Toronto in the pit. And so glad it worked out that way, because night 2 didn't turn out so well. And I will get into that. But not to say it was bad on 21 Pilot's behalf. God, no. They did an amazing job, amazing performance. It's just kind of the venue and the weather. I'll get into it. So for night 1, we got to get there. We made it to the show. We waited in line, finally got through the gates, went straight to the pit because, there's no point in getting merch. We could have gotten merch, but we were going to be there for night 2. Why get merch on night 1 when we know we're going to be standing? We have nowhere to put it. And, I know you can get a tote bag and put it in there, which Noah did do night 2. But all the same, it's a little bit easier to have merch and everything with you when you're in a seat rather than when you're in the pit jumping around, being pushed around. You might drop it, you might lose it, God knows, right? And if it's something like what I bought the baseball hat, like the dad hat, the bright red with the silhouette of the album cover. I didn't want that getting wrecked. And if I bought that night 1 and was in the pit, God knows I would have had to put it on and get it all sweaty, because if I didn't put it on, it probably would have got squished to shit. So glad I didn't, but all the same, that aside, the first show, night 1, what an amazing performance from 21 Pilots. And that's not even to mention, I do need to shout out here, Dayglow. I didn't know who they were. They are the openers that 21 Pilots brought on tour with them. Had no idea who they were whatsoever. And not saying that I'll really go deep into their stuff, I don't think. But they weren't disappointing. They put on a good show. They had good energy. And I think 21 Pilots did a good job. I do believe that there will be quite a bit of people, at least, that probably do go down the rabbit hole of just checking out what those guys are, what they do. Because their music, it wasn't bad. The best way I could describe it, I even looked at Crystal and whispered this in her ear to say that they're very much like a nerdy valley. And that's the kind of vibe I got from them. So all that aside, they did an amazing job. They opened for 21 Pilots. And once 21 Pilots actually took stage, my God, was the crowd ever just wild. Like loud. And with good reason. I was expecting it. But it even caught me off guard still. Because like, it's just insane to think that they're able to draw that much energy from people when some of them were just sitting on the floor, not throughout Dayglow, but beforehand. Like they were reserving their energy, I guess, conserving it. But yeah, when 21 Pilots hit the stage and you hear the intro for Overcompensate, like the same intro that they have in the music video, and you look at the screen and it flashes by a bunch of iconic moments throughout the entire story, different moments from the music videos, and just to hear Welcome Back to Trench, and Josh gets on stage to his drum kit with a glowing eyes mask, like just something that I did not expect. I didn't know he was going to do that. Very much the glowing eyes from like the Contract music video of all the dark Clancys around him, like swirling in that tornado, that kind of glowing eye effect. And then for it to get into kind of the same way the music video starts, where, you know, as soon as the door opens to that gymnasium, Clancy steps out and starts rapping. Same kind of idea with the show itself. The door opened kind of thing, or like he came out from behind the stage, wherever he was off stage, and came on stage and just started going. And the whole crowd knew every word. It was so cool to be a part of. Overcompensate. That's what started the show. And it was amazing to actually see that song live, especially after having such just a emotional and like, I almost can't even think of the word viral reaction, if that makes any sense, to when the song originally dropped back last year. Like, I still remember it now, like even when that music video came out. But to then getting to see it live, it was something else. What a fucking opener for a tour. Like they cooked. I understand why Josh even says it's one of the favorite songs that he's ever made with 21 Pilots. One of their, like, it is one of their best openers because it just has that energy. It's everything just, you know, like you don't want to fuck around, overcompensate. Like it's just so good. I know I could go on, but I don't want to ramble too much. Believe me, I know I've already rambled enough, but I need to get through this without it being ages long. Because then right after Overcompensate, we got The Contract, which, oh my God. So while we were in line, we were given these little papers. I know that sounds weird, but they were little red papers that said, I can't remember exactly what it said on it, but it was essentially telling you, as a fan, once the contract starts, to put it over top of your light on your phone and shine your light through it. And it would look like glowing red, right? And it's something that I remember very fondly. It's a fan project. They did it back in the Bandito tour. I remember there being a yellow and a blue one. One was for Chlorine, and the other one I think was for Smithereens. I can't remember exactly though. There was two anyways. One was blue, one was yellow, and I could find them. They're definitely in my little drawer here. I know exactly where they are, but I held on to them, and now I have a Clancy Tour Breach one to hold on to for the contract to look like the glowing eyes that were in the music video itself. Amazing too. I didn't really get to see many people do it myself because I was busy, you know, looking at the show and actually having the camera, or not even my camera, rather, the light. I was shining it very proudly because I wasn't going to miss out on being a part of that, damn it. But Crystal and Noah both told me that all around the arena, because they actually looked behind them, glowing red. I wish I could have seen it. I hope I can see a video of it or something because I didn't look behind me. I looked in front of me and just seen people were still recording, and I kind of was upset. Like, what the hell, guys? Take your camera off and fucking, be a part of this. It is a moment. We want 21 Pilots to know that we are here. Like, we're here for this, And I know everyone was still screaming the words, so they knew we were there, but it's just a different kind of like, to be a part of that, right? Like, you can record it any other time. Be a part of it in the moment right now, right? I'm sure someone out there is going to record it regardless, so live through them or whichever, but I know Crystal, she recorded it, and then also, at least in the second night, did both. She had a second phone and recorded the song and did the light trick with the red. Amazing anyways, is cool to be a part of. And the contract, it goes fucking hard. Like, let me tell you. It was so cool to just be able to see it all. And I'm not going to go super in depth towards the whole show. I'm just going to go through the set list because, again, I don't want to spoil the things that really happen except for little moments that really stand out to me personally. But the whole show, like, a complete blur. And in the best ways. Like, I'm glad I recorded a lot of it. Like, I didn't really pay attention to what I was recording. Like, some of the recordings, my hands go way the fuck. Like, cameras in the air, like, not on stage at all, or, like, in the crowd or whatever. But they're authentic to me, and I can still hear it. And when I can see the stage, when I'm actually, focused, it's just amazing for me to have it as a personal memory because this concert, it was everything. And I know I say that probably about every concert. I bet if I listened to all my old episodes about any concert I've been to, I've probably praised them quite a bit. This one is all of that, but even more. And I don't know how to say that without, like, feeling guilty for, Black Veil. I love them. And MCR, I just seen them recently. I love them too. But this just... the energy, the show that 21 Pilots is able to put on is unlike any other artist I've ever been lucky enough to see. And that is not to shit on any of those other artists. I still love them. The Black Veil concerts that I've seen, amazing. I adore them. And the memories that I have for them, yeah, nothing will come close to that either. But this, again, for it being the culmination of 10 plus years of their own storyline. And then on top of that, just for it being like a career spanning set list and the energy that they're able to bring out of people. It's unlike anything else, and it absolutely electric. Like, you have to be there to understand, truly. Because it might just sound like I'm spouting out my ass and being like, oh, I'm really biased. But even the people that we went with, like, I know Crystal, Noah, and I were in the pit, but the other two, being Trevor and Riley, they were in seats. And they still, like, 21 Pilots is not one of their favorite bands. They don't dislike them, but they're just like, they like some of their songs. They're very casual. They still thought it was amazing. Like, what a spectacle, what a show, right? And that's what they do. That's what they're best at. They're best at making the show feel like a proper show. They are entertainers through and through. And again, it just showed in every single moment of this show. But to get back on track, the contract, then the next track they went into was Raw Fear from the brand new album, Breach. So happy that they played that one. That was one of the ones I wanted to hear. Granted, it was the only one that I got out of the new album that I was really looking forward to hear, or hoping to hear rather. And I'm not even disappointed that it was the only one. It was so good to just be able to sit there, or well, stand there rather, and jump around, scream along to it. And for it being brand new, the entire crowd knew the words. There was even a part, like, granted, we struggled maybe a little bit, yes. It wasn't perfect, but the crowd even, like, sang the chorus. Like, Tyler put his microphone down, and the crowd was singing it to him. A song that, mind you, came out just that Friday before, the 12th. And it was, what, the 20th? That alone. Like, I imagine as him, he's got to be like, holy shit. I know certain moments in the show you see his face, and there's probably videos even proving it, like zooming in on his face. And Noah even said it himself, that he's seen like Tyler just mouth like holy, like just in awe, just completely in awe that we know the words as well as we do. And I'm sure that a part of Tyler probably expected it. Same with Josh. They probably like, oh, you know, our fan base is very dedicated. They'll probably know the words. Let's give it a shot. But I think we caught them off guard just a little bit. Probably both of them. And as a fan, that makes me happy because that was at my show. Like, it's just very fulfilling. A very fulfilling moment. And I do know that there was, I don't know if it was after Raw Fear or when in the show it was, but Tyler himself said, for both him and Josh, that it's amazing that after so long, such a long career, that they're able to play these new songs and for us to know all the words. And I think that alone, just them acknowledging it, was like, holy shit, they are in awe just as much as we are with being able to hear these songs. And I don't know, it's a beautiful moment. I adore 21 Pilots, as I'm sure everyone knows. But Raw Fear, that was a good one. What a vibe. What a fucking vibe indeed. And to just get that one out of all of them was very cool to hear live. Especially to be in the crowd for the moment of everyone singing it loudly when Tyler stopped singing. Like, just beautiful. Anyways, next song, We Don't Believe What's on TV. It started with a video of the crowd that was outside of the venue, the ones that came in really early, I do believe, that luckily were able to actually sign a sign or a flag, a Toronto flag that Torchbearer actually held himself later in the show. Very jealous I didn't get to sign that, but hey, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Anyways, even though it's really not fine, but We Don't Believe What's on TV, mind you. It started with the crowd, or the line of people on the screen. They were singing it, and the crowd sang along with it. And then, obviously, after that little clip was done, it went into the actual song. And as always, just as back in the Bandito tour, we yelled, yeah, 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 every time that we could and clapped our hands. And what a great song. A lot of energy, just as all of their other ones have, of course. And then it went into House of Gold. When I tell you how I was just caught off guard that we got House of Gold on this tour, on this set list, I looked back at Crystal and Noah and was like, what? Because the opening ukulele, like, that's, iconic. You can't mistake that for any of their other songs. Like, the way that it sounds. And for it to go into House of Gold, for a song from Vessel, like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what songs they would play, what they wouldn't. But that one made me just happy. Very, very, very happy. And then it transitioned into Tear in My Heart, and then Backslide, which, oh my god, Backslide. I know Tear in My Heart was very energetic too. Very good song. I do love that one. And then Backslide, like, we got the Backslide scream at the end. Because I knew that was a thing he did in the Clancy Tour. I've seen videos. I didn't watch all the videos that Crystal took, because again, I kind of wanted to go in a little spoiler-free, but I did see quite a few on TikTok over the last, year, last year that they were on tour, throughout TikTok and Twitter, of course. But for that song in itself, that is that is my favorite single that they released from Clancy. Not my favorite song from Clancy, mind you, but my favorite single that they dropped. And to get that scream at the end was perfect. It's everything I could have hoped for. And I was able to actually record it because I knew it was coming. And I do believe the chorus, where the water's over my head, he got the crowd to raise their hands and do the waving motions. It was just a lot of fun. Again, 21 Pilots is amazing at their crowd work. They do a very, very good job for the crowd to just be invested and in it. And for the show to be as long as it was, I had no idea. It went by like a blur. But then it went into Lane Boy. I adore Lane Boy. That's probably my favorite song from Blurry Face. And we got to do the Lane Boy thing. I don't know what it's called, if it's called something in the fan base. I know I'm a, longtime fan. No idea if it's called anything special, but we did the Lane Boy thing. He had Fame and Success on stage and got us to go low. Stay low. I see you. Stay low. Like that moment, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Look up a live Lane Boy. I think is from like Lollapalooza, maybe. Or maybe it's in the music video as well. I can't fully remember. I know there's a version of it, though, on YouTube that Fame and Success are in there. It actually probably is the music video. We got to do that. The whole crowd, like, from the very, very front of the crowd, crouched, and then the next row, crouch, 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 crouch. And it was just like a sea of people crouching. And then as soon as the beat came back, everyone jumped. And it was so cool. It was so cool to be a part of. Like, that was one of those moments that I have always wanted to experience. And I never got to in the Bandito tour. I'm pretty sure they did it. But I wasn't in the pit. I was in a seat. And I know that you can still do it in the seat, I guess. But it's just not the same, you know? All that aside, though, from memory, if memory serves correct, we were able to do that. It was so good. I was just in awe afterwards. I was like, holy fuck, we did that. Even Noah was like, bro, because him and I talked about it earlier, before the show actually started, that would be fucking sick, and it happened, and so happy for that. Then next was Shy Away. Josh and Tyler actually came to the middle of the stage and played the song themselves, like together, face to face, before splitting ways. And obviously there is a piano there. The whole setup was just a piano and I believe his bass guitars and the drum kit. Very simple. 21 Pilots doesn't really take much. It is just the two of them. So very, very cool to see. But Shy Away, to get that one live, I don't know if many people knew the words. I know Scaled and Icy isn't everyone's favorite album. Unfortunately, it's been redeemed, but it was the only Scaled and Icy song that was on the set list. And I believe it was good. We got the live Shy Away, like the scream that he does, which he did in the live stream as well, if anyone remembers from back when Scaled and Icy came out. Very awesome. Very awesome to hear that one live. I actually didn't like that song when it first came out. I can't even say I didn't like it. I was left feeling off. I don't know how else to put it other than that. Because when the single dropped back in April of, I guess, 2021, I didn't know exactly why it was how it was. Like, very different vibe for 21 Pilots. But they kept it, and, it was in the set list, and I'm glad it was. I wish some other Scaled and Icy songs would have made it, to be honest, because some of them are really good. But the fact we got Shy Away was really cool. It's the biggest song off Scaled and Icy, I do believe. Even though I wish, if I got to pick one, if we had to pick only one single song from Scaled and Icy that had a music video, probably would have went with The Outside, just for it being, very much lore, and it is such a vibe. Heads are nodding up and down. But I digress. I'm not complaining. I'm very happy with every song we got. But just trying to say, since Scaled and Icy didn't get any representation except for Shy Away, would have been cool to get at least one or maybe two others. Redecorate would have been my top, but Shy Away, glad it was there. And the crowd, like I said, I don't know if they fully knew all the words. I did. I mean, I can pat myself on the back, I guess, but it was amazing. And mind you, every song, even the ones with the raps and everything, the crowd is loud. Like, singing every word, rapping every word right back at them, and hitting the beats towards the drums that Josh is just fucking smashing away at. Like, he is a show in himself. Like, to just watch him do what he does, insane. He just fucking goes, man. But I digress. Then it went into Heathens. He got us to do the watch it, watch it, like the whole crowd. And it was, again, very cool to be a part of. I was a part of that back in the Bandito tour, back when the song was still kind of new. But to be a part of it again was very cool. Heathens, I know it's a song that quite a few people, Riley included, one of the people that we went with, kind of a song that wore on them, like a bit too much, like is just overplayed, which I get it. was a very popular song when it came out, but it's still good, in my opinion. In my opinion. And again, the light show for all of these, nuts. Because then it went into Next Semester and like transitioned very quickly. Oh, Next Semester. Next Semester is just a song that makes me cry. And not every time, mind you, but it made me cry a lot just thinking that it is about a suicide attempt that specifically Tyler Joseph has had in his life, and him just being straight up about it, you know, praying the headlights would take him home. Then he heard a voice yell, "Hey kid, get out of the road." That, and just like, you know, in those kinds of moments, you remember very, very vividly the things you were wearing, the yellow dashes on the street. Like, it's just a very heavy song, even though it doesn't come off as such. Like, you listen to the words, you get it. It's very apparent of what it is about. But like when I first heard it, I don't know what I was thinking about. Maybe I was thinking towards just the storyline too much, but it wasn't until like a third or fourth listen that it just fucking hit me. And I think I had to read a comment about it. I was like, oh my God. Listen to it again and it instantly just, broke me. Crystal can attest to that as well. She was on the phone with me afterwards because I was having a hard time just digesting that. Kind of the same way I was with Breach in general when that album came out. But again, I digress. After Next Semester, they went into Routines in the Night, which was their transition song to stage B, or the B stage, which was out past the entire crowd right before the lawn. They had the fucking car. They had the car from Heavy Dirty Soul up there on that stage, to where Josh, he went up there, you know, walked all the way up there to his drum kit, started playing the drums, and then when he started playing the drums, that's when it was the drums for Routines in the Night. And that song started. Tyler, he came from the stage and started singing and walked through the crowd, not like right through the crowd, but through the aisles and whatnot to get up to the car. And oh my God, to just see the interactions. Like, I know I wasn't able to interact with Tyler or Josh really, except for night 2, and I will get into that in a moment. Tyler, he was actually able to, like, you know, high five some fans, and it was just a really lovely moment to be like, damn, these guys care, they're genuine. And that is even more to say that I believe after, like, on the way back from the car, because they did eventually come back after a few songs, they even said, like, I wish that I could talk and see, at least Tyler said, and I'm sure Josh shares the same sentiment, I wish I could see you guys, like all of you. I wish I could spend a moment talking to every single last one of you, because you all mean something to me. Us as a band wouldn't be what we are without you guys. So thank you for being here. And for those that I can't see, that I can't talk to, we love you. Like, granted, that's not exact words. Please don't think that I'm saying exactly what they said, but just that message. And as a fan, like, I cried. Okay, I cried. I know I'm an emotional person. You can probably get that from all of what I've talked about so far, but it was just such a moment. I can't believe that, like, it hit me as hard as it did, because these guys, I know they're just dudes, and that's the, like, weirdest part about it, but also the best part about it. They're just genuine. But after Routines in the Night, they ended up playing Message Man. Oh, Message Man. I didn't expect what they did during Message Man. They did the thing that they did in Scaled and Icy, the Icy Tour. And for those that don't know, I will say briefly. With Message Man, he ended up going up to this bowl. It's like a standing bowl. I don't know what to call it. Something kind of akin to, if anyone knows churches where they keep the holy water. That kind of thing, where it's like off the ground and it's a bowl of water. It's a bowl of the black goop, if you will, to smear people. Like Nico smears Clancy, right? To put him under his control. And he put his hands in it and raised them. Just the same way he did in the Icy Tour. And I know a lot of people might not know that because they didn't see the Icy Tour. COVID times, kind of sucked. But to be able to see that in person, that moment in person, my jaw dropped. I was like, there's no fucking way. Like, even right now, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it because I didn't think that was going to happen. They kind of caught me off guard there because he lifted his hands, and as he lifted his hands, which were dripping with this black ooze, the car, the Heavy Dirty Soul car, caught on fire. And it was just like, the music also was just an intense theme. I'm sure it's like a Bishop theme or something, but it was mixed with the Message Man song because they stopped singing at that point, obviously. But yeah, just such an intense moment. And then the car catching on fire, and then him going right back into the rap, and then also blending together Pet Cheetah and Message Man. Which is hilarious, just to say that I was doing that maybe days before. I was trying to recite the lyrics to Crystal over the phone, and I kept on, messing up. I kept on that end lyric where he's like, the click, he's scared of his music, scared to death he could lose it. That's what I kept doing. I kept messing up the lyrics of wait, no, that ending bit, I keep doing Pet Cheetah lyrics. This isn't the right song. What am I doing? I should know better. And she even said, well, they're kind of similar in the way they are like that. So, it makes sense. And then we go to the show and they do that live? Excuse me? Did I know? Do I have a sixth sense, truly? It was just so cool. And I definitely yelled out, no, Clancy! And I, unprompted, it just came out. But it was such a good moment. Such a good moment. And then after Pet Cheetah, it went into Polarize. Crazy to hear that live. I do love that song. And it also is very fitting with what just happened. Wanted to be a better brother, better son, be a better adversary to the evil one. Or for the evil that I have done. It makes sense. It makes sense that song followed suit. And then as Clancy himself, or Tyler, walked back to the stage, he sang Chlorine. And actually had a little moment. I don't know if it happened in night 1. It for sure happened in night 2. With a bunch of Neds, fans that were dressed up as Ned, that surrounded him and sang the song with him in that little moment while he was walking through the crowd. Very fitting, very cute. I loved it. And maybe it was after Polarize that he did the hand thing. I can't fully remember. It was after one of them, though. I know for sure it was in between. I believe it was Message Man, though, if I'm not mistaken. All the same, though. After that, got back on the main stage, and before it went into the next song after Chlorine, because Clancy did not make it back to the main stage. He made it almost there and collapsed. And then the lights went out on that part of him. You didn't see him after that. He just fell face first and was gone. And then everything focused back up to the car, burning car, to Torchbearer. Josh. He stood up, torch in hand, lit it in the car, and held the torch up in one hand, and then in the other he grabbed a flag that was on a pole, flagpole. That flag was the Toronto flag. And he took that flag and his torch in hand from that far stage with the car on it, and slowly walked. And might I tell you, slowly walked all the way from there, from the B stage to the main stage, center stage. And as he got up, and mind you, I took some wicked photos. It was so cool to see this. So cool to see this as a fan. But he walked up onto the stage, stared up at the back of the stage, and then the curtain dropped. And it was Dima. He made it to Dima with torch in hand and flag and torch in hand. And Clancy wasn't around. He was ready to take on Dima. It was just such an iconic, whoa. When that flag, or when the curtain dropped and it was Dima behind them, that was something else. And I don't know if I can put that into words. But regardless, he took the flag off the pole, put it over top of his drum set. Not like the whole thing, but just the center drum. Don't know what it's called. Apologies for all of the drummers out there for my ignorance. But put it over that. And then it went into Jumpsuit. And obviously Clancy, Tyler, he was back on stage. Went into Jumpsuit. And that big like bang for Jumpsuit. Like they do an extra oomph for the bang with Jumpsuit live. And that is something that caught me off guard. I knew it was coming, but it still caught me off guard. I think it made me jump every single time. But regardless, Jumpsuit, and then it transitioned after Jumpsuit, which, again, I do have to say, amazing song. I adore that one. Probably my favorite album opener if I had to give one, because, again, I'm just a Trench purist through and through. I love that album, and I could say that time and time again. But they did have, before I move on to the next song, they had the yellow rose petals. Granted, they were just paper, yes, but like confetti. But they were cut into rose petal shapes that fell onto the stage. The same way that in the music video, the banditos were throwing so Clancy could hopefully, regain consciousness. Break the cycle, break that hold that Blurry had on him. And so perfect that after it went into Nico and the Niners. And that song, to hear East is Up and to be able to do it with them, crazy. I know I probably was able to in the Bandito tour. I don't fully remember all the songs they played way back in the day. I do have videos though, and I plan to go through them because I need to know what the Bandito tour was. Because it's very, very, I don't know. I know it's not that long ago, but it feels like a very long time ago. Almost like a lifetime ago. But regardless, Nico and the Niners, amazing. And they ended up, yes, doing the Heavy Dirty Nico, because Nico and the Niners transitioned perfectly into Heavy Dirty Soul. And people went nuts. Like, it just for Jumpsuit as well. Like, all these songs, again, people are going crazy. And to get Heavy Dirty Soul, him lying on the fucking ground of the stage and just doing the, can you save my, like, I can't do it right now, my throat is fucking shot, but he was screaming that, can you save my Heavy Dirty Soul, just as he does when he does it live. And to get that live, that was perfect. And then, I was not ready for this. They went into the line. Yeah, the song that they did for Arcane, and the one that I have said time and time again might be my favorite song that they've ever made. Like, probably the top. And I didn't expect to get that live. Because they just did it on the Clancy Tour. Why would they do it again? But they did it. And I got the same scream that he did at the Game Awards for that verse. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, go fucking watch their Game Awards performance, because my God. If you don't like 21 Pilots, watch that and tell me that you don't like them again, okay? Or maybe that, not that you don't like them, but that they're not talented. Because that turned a lot of people's perspectives. Changed a lot of people's tunes, to say anyways. But he was on the piano, did the line, and then transitioned into Garbage. Yes, the other song that wasn't a single from Breach that they did. So crazy to hear that live. Such a personal song to, I want to say, probably the entire fan base. I feel like Garbage, and that line in the bridge to say, maybe this is you and you like it like this. Like, I don't have words to even say about that, because it is a song that I personally, yes, I love. I very much do. It's not my favorite from Breach by any means, but for what it says, yeah, it's a very personal one. And I'm glad that we got it live. And that one, I think, probably made Tyler like, holy shit, again. And probably Josh too, to just them in awe, because again, the entire crowd was yelling it, screaming it back at them. Beautiful, beautiful moment to be a part of, again. Just as this whole fucking show was, man. Then, after Garbage, it went into Doubt, the demo version. He had the mask that he brought out during the Clancy Tour. crazy to see live. I took some photos of him in the mask just sitting there kind of like dead. Oh, man. That was cool to see. It gives me shivers even thinking about it. And I personally like the non-demo version of Doubt way more. I will be upfront about that and honest. But to get it live, that was really cool. That was really, really cool. And then it went into Ride. And Ride was something that they ended up getting the crowd. Just the same, I guess I forgot to mention, I believe it was Tearing My Heart. They got the crowd to do, Tyler's side, as he always said, the good side. And then Josh's side, the bad side, apparently. To, sing back and forth to each other to see who's loudest kind of thing. They did the same idea in Ride. Just a little bit different. They just kind of did the chorus. Or sorry, not even the chorus. The verse. The rapping verse. They did that a couple times over. And what a moment. I adore Ride. I know it's one of their biggest songs, obviously, but it's one of the first ones, apart from, Car Radio and Migraine, one of the first ones from Blurryface. Probably the first one from Blurryface that I learned all the words to, because it played on the radio so much. And I mean, a little personal story. I don't know if anyone even knows this, because most people in my life don't know me from back in the day. They don't know me from high school. But in high school, I was driving me and my girlfriend at the time to school. Or maybe I was driving her home. Regardless, driving away from my house. And it was a dirt road that was so fucking icy. I wanted to impress her, I guess. So I was doing the entire rap for Ride. And then by the time the rap was over, I realized how close we were to the stop sign on the road. And I hit the brakes, and it was so icy that we went right through the stop sign. Granted, dirt road, no one was coming, it was fine. Right through into this little runoff path that was just oh God. Luckily, no damage to my truck, no damage to anyone else or anything else. It was just a moment that very vivid in my mind, I did that to Ride. Anyways, tangent aside, Ride. That was cool to hear live. I was very happy hearing that live, and to be able to not only just hear it live, but then on top of it all, to get the chance to turn my camera and video us, me, Crystal, and Noah, just screaming it. And it's something that I will forever cherish, because I now have that, and it is very personal to me. I'll probably still post it on my socials, or at least TikTok or whichever, but it is a very personal moment that's just heartwarming to me that I was able to do. Anyways, at the last end of Ride, they did bring up one of the kids in the crowd, and that kid, one of the luckiest kids in the world, let me tell you, he was able to get up there and sing the end of Ride with the band. And there is videos of it. I know, I believe Sirius XM posted it on their Facebook. Very cool to see. It was a very heartwarming moment as well that he was able to bring a kid up on stage. Just so sweet. I love those guys. And then it went into drum show afterwards. Yes, Josh Dunn, he put on a fucking drum show. Not only did he put on a drum show on stage, but he also had his own little I guess platform stage that people were holding up again with the drum kit on it, and just fucking went ham on it. So good. Amazing to hear that live. One of the new songs, and they did not disappoint. Then, of course, it went into what I noticed to be Paladin Straight. Not the song, mind you, but it was the intermission part, the sound, the birds, if you will, for Paladin Straight. And that was something to hear. I don't think many people noticed, or at least I couldn't really tell. I noticed it, and I called it out to Crystal, and she's like, holy shit, it is. But after that kind of ended as a little bit of a break, it went into City Walls. And behind them, they played the entire music video. Not just the song part, the ending too. So, City Walls. What a song to hear live. And yes, the entire crowd did not know all of the words yet. They didn't. But it was cool to hear like people trying to do it, and then for it to go, move it up, it's a breach, like, because that everybody fucking knew. And then of course the chorus and then the ending of the song. Just a beautiful song, especially for what it stands as with the story. And heartbreaking, yes, but beautifully heartbreaking. Again, it has a good message, because at the end of the song, it still had the end of the music video. Of the, them saying, I really like this Clancy. Yeah, me too. And, for him to saying, until we try, Clancy's still out there. The real, that isn't Clancy up there anymore. Clancy's still out there, and we'll try again. And the guy says, again? And Josh says, always. And I said every word to it in the crowd, just as I'm sure everyone else did, because it was kind of like an echo effect. And I think everyone else was kind of saying it aloud too with them, because as a fan, it hits. It fucking hits, man. Very much so. And to be able to be a part of that for the one time I was able to, because again, night 2 had some things cut. It was awesome to be able to experience that in the pit. And then, after City Walls, we transitioned into one that caught me off guard. Because, again, as this whole show was amazing, and, like, he changed shirts, at least, both Tyler and Josh changed costumes quite a few times. Like, Josh, he changed from his glowing eyes suit into the, I believe, shirtless, and then the Bandito outfit. And I know for sure Tyler changed from his white shirt that he was wearing, which was his stylist grandfather's shirt, out of respect, because the grandfather of the stylist unfortunately passed away. So it was just kind of like to honor him. And then after that, he changed into a Clancy shirt, which then eventually changed into an Always shirt. And that was something to see. Because it was right after City Walls, he came back out wearing the same kind of shirt as the Clancy one, where it's just the red letters, the same Clancy, but it was always. Like, we will always try again. And, like, thinking about it makes me want to tear up, so sorry. But it went into Guns for Hands. And that's a song that I didn't think we would hear. I truly did not think that I would have heard that song, because that song... that's one that I adore. It is my favorite music video they've ever done. For it to be what it is, and him holding out that, like, mask to Josh, and just, like, as a safety net, like, here, you can hide if you need to. Like, it's okay, you'll be safe in this. And, like, for it to kind of reference that the entire time they've been a band, as, like, what the mask represents and why they wear one, like... It was crazy to hear. I'm very, very happy I was able to hear Guns for Hands live, because that one, again, I didn't expect to hear, to be able to hold my hand up in the air as a gun and then change it into a fucking fist. And to the beat, like, the lyrics of the song, everything. Like, as a longtime fan of theirs, I adored being able to hear that live. And then, not only that, afterwards, they went into Stressed Out. And Stressed Out, obviously the Stressed Out boys, love the song, and they personally love it as well. I got some amazing photos during that song. Very happy. And might I tell you, Tyler, no disrespect, but damn, man, you've gotten old. And that's just me saying it not to be rude, but just like a retrospective of, like, I remember the music video debuting, or like at least when I found the song and watching the music video, like, he's an old man now. Like, not that old, mind you. I'm not saying he's ancient, but, like, he's aged, just as we all do. And again, it's just to go and prove that how much time has passed. Like, I was finally able to experience this in the fucking pit after so long. Anyways, after Stressed Out, they went into Trees. And Trees was a great ending. Obviously, it's one they end with every single show, I do believe, because they did what they always do, and it was the drum circle. I believe that's what it's called. That alone, to be a part of that, and like, I was able to be close enough to look up and be rained on with the confetti. And even the water that he was like throwing on the crowd, because he pours it on the drum and then throws it on the crowd. It hit me in the face. And I'm not upset about it by any means. Like, that's an iconic moment. I got like, I know it sounds weird, but like to be blessed by that in a sense of just like pure enjoyment. And then to look up and see Tyler, and then to look over and see Josh, and to be rained on by that confetti. Sorry. Every time I've tried to talk about it since, I'd cry. And some people I know already won't understand. But to look up and see that confetti raining on me, and to see Tyler banging that drum, and to go, hey, like, to be in that, the moment that I've dreamed of, the moment that I see videos of that people post online, and to always wanting to be a part of that. I finally was. Like, oh man, fuck. God. I'm trying my best here. Sorry, bear with me. It was an amazing end to an amazing night. And I sobbed when they got off stage. For them to get back on stage, do their bow and say, "We're 21 Pilots and so are you. We'll see you again next time, or see you again soon." Just, the lights went on and I sobbed. Completely, just uncontrollably sobbed. And I grabbed handful after a handful of confetti, which I didn't think I was going to do. The Bandito tour, I only took one piece. Like, that's nuts, right? I didn't get it. But when I got to be in the crowd and in that pit for it, and actually experience it that close, like, I understood. And I took some photos, obviously taking the photos of before and after the show of all of us, and I got some photos of just me. I'll probably make it my profile photo, honestly. I am visibly crying in it, but, you know, such a pivotal moment, a core memory through and through. So much so that I grabbed Noah and gave him such a big hug that I cracked his back. He appreciated it, but I just, again, had to thank him because he is the reason I was able to be in that pit. There is no other person I can thank other than Noah himself that I was able to be in the pit for that moment, because I didn't want to spend what the resale price was to be there. And he did. And I can't even begin to fathom or even imagine what I want to say of the thank you, right? So, which is why I actually wrote what I did. And I am going to get into that just in a bit here, because I do want to talk about, before I move on to that, as I know this episode is very long, apologies, but kind of not really. The second night, it was much shorter. And the reason being, they started a whole, like, I want to say hour earlier, and the set list was cut way short because it was storming outside. Not yet, but a storm was coming, a thunderstorm. And apparently the venue, even though it said rain or shine show, they didn't really mean it. I don't really know why, but night 2 anyways went as such. They played only Overcompensate, The Contract, We Don't Believe What's on TV, Tear in My Heart, Shy Away, Heathens, Next Semester, then Routines in the Night, Message Man, Pet Cheetah, Polarize, Chlorine, then again Jumpsuit, Ride, performed entirely from the main stage, no fan. There was no fan brought up on stage this time. And then Drum Show with, again, no Drum Island. That didn't happen. And then into Trees, straight into Trees. No fucking City Walls. No, like, there was so much cut. So much. No Heavy Dirty Soul. No Nico and the Niners. No, like, I would name them all, but again, this episode's already too long. It's just crazy that it was cut so much. And it wasn't their fault. Anyone out there expecting, like, hey, 21 Pilots, fuck you. Like, you are blaming the wrong people. That was on Budweiser stage. The staff, whoever was running that event, that isn't on 21 Pilots. That was just on the event. The people running it. And it was lovely to know that Tyler and Josh, they even came out on stage and said, at least Tyler said for both of them, that even though they were told to cancel the show before they even started, that they are going to do their best to make sure they can play as many songs as they can. They're just going to pump it through. And they did. They still played 16 out of 24 songs? 28 songs? Like, that's still impressive. They still did an amazing job. It's unfortunate for the people that only were there for night 2, but a lot of people that I was lucky enough to talk to, they were there for both nights. And I was very happy that I was able to be there for both nights. I know not everyone could have been, but it was still amazing. Like, the show, even though it was so stripped back and cut back for all that happened, it was still fucking amazing. And it was so amazing, in fact, that I was able to, being in the seat, I kind of got pushed up to the very barricade where right in front of me, like feet in front of me, like so close, there's no one else in front of me as well, just right at the barricade of the seats, Josh, in his torchbearer outfit, torch in hand with the Toronto flag, walked right in front of me. I didn't want to yell and scream in his face, so I just waved, but my God, someone that I look up to so much, and I know they're just people, but him being that character and everything that character stands for, the reason why I love Torchbearer so much, for him being the light in the darkness and just representing that everyone has their own torchbearer, like what it is. I was so happy to be able to experience that moment, and that moment alone, alongside the whole show, of course, but amazing. And words, again, just cannot do it justice. But apart from that, it was an amazing show. I'm sure there's more I could probably ramble off about, but I will be posting the videos. I promise this time. I know I haven't been doing that as I've been promising, but if you want to check out the photos, the videos, find me on every social at Lights Monarch. That's where I'm posting them all. And before I really close off, I just want to talk just the last few things to shout out Tyler and Josh. Congrats on the #1 album. Fucking finally. Finally. For him to even have that tweet and saying that he's the most proud he's ever been to be a part of this band, with the fact Breach got #1 after it being so long since they've gotten a #1, warms my heart. Like, I was sitting there, laying there on the bed after the show and getting the news that they actually got the #1 spot on Billboard, and I cried for them. Like, this is something I've wanted for them, to get #1 again after Blurryface got #1 back in 2015. Every single album. Every single one. I've always been like, please. And then there was some other person that came out with something else. And then please, someone else came out with something else that just always overshadowed them and everything they did. And I know the fans always appreciated them, but now they finally got the proper recognition, not only by Billboard to get the #1, but also just in general to get the best-selling rock album, not only the best-selling rock album in the past 6 years, mind you, but also the best-selling album, at least for the first week, that they've ever had in their whole career. Like, and it's the end of their narrative. Like, it's nuts. It is nuts to think. And I'm very, very happy as a fan to just be able to have been a part of that, and to be a part of the show, to be able to help them get and reach that height is insane. I'm very happy about that. And I think the only other thing I could mention again is that it was amazing, even though it was only like 1.5 shows, if you will, because the second night didn't go as planned. But the entire trip alone, apart from just the shows, we were able to go see the Ripley's Aquarium, just the 3 of us, Noah, Crystal, and I. And then all 5 of us went to the CN Tower and got to see the entire city and go all the way up to the top. And at Ripley's Aquarium, before I forget, amazing to see all the animals, but I was actually able to pet one of the sea pancakes, like a dog. Like, he came up and I got to pet his head. I know you're not supposed to, but like he came up into my hand like that, and it was just very cute. Very, very cute. But this whole show, this whole trip, very much a core memory. Such a core memory. And we were able to, before we left, see Queen Street and take pictures in front of the Toronto sign. And I think there was no other way to say, but it was perfect. Now, to end off here, as again, this episode's very long, rambled on longer than I even intended to. I gotta go feed my cat. He's meowing like crazy, but I want to read this off before I go. And it is to say, where do I even begin? To put it in short form, first and foremost, it was a dream come true. All of it, and especially the end. So many tears were shed all throughout, and I was left a sobbing mess after the lights came back on and the confetti finished falling. To be in the pit for that moment with the song Trees and the drum circle, as the fans call it, was so surreal and a literal dream of mine. That's a dream I've had for so many years to just be a part of and experience it down on the floor. To feel the confetti fall all over me and be that close and in the moment for the drum circle, it's unreal to think after only ever imagining it and never thinking I'd be able to be a part of that. With all the videos one sees as a fan and just longing to be able to be a part of that moment, especially with me promising myself that one day, the next time I see them, I'll get floor tickets to be in the pit and be that close. It's a core memory that I'll never be able to forget. And all that's just scratching the surface of the show. That's just the iconic ending as every 21 Pilots show has, that I was lucky enough to be a part of. Again, Noah, if you're listening, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for making this dream a reality, and thank you for being a part of it, just as my thanks goes to Crystal, as well as it's a moment I'm so grateful for. To share it with some people I'm close with, closer now than ever, after such a moment as well, I'm so happy I can have you both to share in the memories with. My heart is full. Even if they may be different from their perspective, or that they may not have been waiting so long for such a moment as myself, it's just lovely to think after I was able to get them into the Pilots, that they've affected them so heavily in such a short amount of time in comparison. Honestly, that just goes to prove how much their music can just hit in so many different ways for people from any corner of life, and even if this is the last time I get to experience seeing 21 Pilots, even if it's just in the pit, I know my dream has been fulfilled, and I hope that one day I can see them again after they take their much needed and much deserved break. Now, I'm doubtful they're listening, but to both Josh and Tyler of 21 Pilots, thank you. Thank you for this roller coaster of a journey and emotions you've taken me on with all of your music and this wondrous story you both created. Thank you for sharing your deep, dark thoughts with the world in hopes that it helps others that have been found feeling the same way, such as myself and many, many others. The music and art you two have created has helped me more through my own life journey than I think I could ever express or even put words to. Your music will forever be remembered and will always find its place in my life's soundtrack. Forever grateful and forever thankful for the moment I had been shown your music, all the way to being able to finally achieve and fulfill the dream of seeing you guys in the pit and being a part of that beautiful moment where all of my troubles and all of my fears were truly laid to rest. And of course, to any moments beyond when they may come, but that's for the future to decide. Now, I've been Lights Monarch, and thank you for listening, and thank you for discovering the music within.